So this is difference between offense and sin. So they are very two beautiful verses which are quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to very nicely understand difference between offense and sin. So one verse is quoting here. जय नामधेय मुनि वृंद गेह हे जन रंजनाय परम अस अक्षराकृते त्वम अनादरात् अपि मनात् उदीरितम् निखिलोगरतापपतिलिं विलुम्पश्री. So he's saying that, O Harena, the great sages constantly chant your glories. To delight the devotees, you have appeared in the form of transcendental syllables. All victory unto you. Your excellence is such that even if your name is chanted only once and without respect, to indicate something else jokingly, etc., it completely destroys the most fearsome of sins and even sinful thoughts. So, very in a very contrasting way, he will bring out a difference between offense and sin. So now here he is saying, as far as sins are considered, if someone chants holy names of the Lord even unattentively, even jokingly, all those sins are destroyed. That is the power of the holy name against the sin being committed. Now, then he quotes another verse about where he talks about the offenses. हेन कृष्ण नाम यदि लय बहुबार तबु यदि प्रेम नहे नहे अशुधार तबे जानी अपराध ताहाते प्रचुर कृष्ण नाम बीज ताहे न करे अंकुर. So on one hand, in relation to sin, he is saying no matter how many sins one has committed, if he chants the holy names of the Lord, even jokingly, even unattentively, all the sins are destroyed at once. Other hand, now he talks about offenses. He says, even if one is chanting the holy names of the Lord constantly, still there will be no Krishna Prem if he has committed offenses. So on one hand, even although chanted once, that also inattentively, that also jokingly, can destroy all the sins. Other hand, he says, even if one is chanting attentively, even if one is chanting constantly, but if he commits offense, then he cannot develop Krishna Prem. There are similar verses also in Chaitamrit कि बहु जन्म कैला नाम संकीर्तन, that from many lives also you may chant the holy names of the Lord. तबु ना पाइबो कृष्ण प्रेम धन, still you cannot get Krishna प्रेम धन. कब? If you are committing offenses. अगर हम अपराध कर रहे हैं तो इसलिए अपराध जो हैं वो बहुत गंभीर बताए जाते हैं. Offenses become very serious. And anyone who has this offensive mentality, offensive attitude, Krishna Prem will not arise in the heart of such a devotee. So that's why they are considered very serious. So one of the symptom of a serious practitioner of spirituality is that he'll be very careful to avoid offenses. This is one of the very important symptom of a serious spiritual practitioner. Like naturally, any serious spiritual practitioner, we can judge. So one of the important symptom will be how seriously he is taking the basic and core activities of Krishna consciousness. How seriously he is taking the chanting of the holy names. How seriously he is taking the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. How seriously he is taking the morning program which is given by Srila Prabhupada. How seriously he is taking eating the prasadam which is offered to the Supreme Lord. How seriously he is taking following four regulative principles. So this is one aspect of a serious sadhaka, which we can see. To the degree he is serious about these activities, to that degree we can understand he is serious in his spiritual life. Another very important aspect of a serious sadhaka is how careful he is in avoiding Vaishnava offenses. If we see a devotee who is very careful in avoiding Vaishnava offenses, it is a sign that he is very serious about spiritual practice. He knows this essence that if I commit offenses, then I will displease Krishna and I will not get mercy of the Lord. So he is very serious about it. So this also is very important aspect of a sadhaka. And in the scriptures we see and understand that on the basis of how much we are becoming averse to finding fault in others, to that degree we are elevating in our consciousness. Nindadi Sunyam, that is one qualification mentioned about Uttamadhikari. That Uttamadhikari, a devotee who is situated on a very high platform, he is very averse to see fault in others. So, in one way, it is a sign of advancement in our consciousness also. To the degree we are advanced, to that degree we will avoid to see fault. To the degree we are neophyte, to that degree we will see faults. To the degree we are low in our consciousness, to that degree we will see fault and criticize other Vaishnavas. So this is one of the important aspect of a serious sadhaka, that he is very careful in avoiding offenses against other devotees. Now, after saying so, Maharaj speaks very beautifully. He says, we infer the presence of aparadha by its symptoms, developing an inoffensive mentality. Offenses are diametrically opposite to bhakti. Bhakti stands for love, reverence, devotion. It is difficult to get rid of them because offenses are like our weapon protecting us in the aggressive atmosphere of the modern world. So we discussed one of the important aspect of a serious sadhaka is that he is very careful in avoiding offenses. At the same time, the environment where we stay in is a very aggressive environment. So sometimes what happens, a sadhaka feels that it is justified to be offensive in such an environment. It is okay to be offensive in such an environment. Yes, being in Kaliuga, the environment is very aggressive, but that does not give us justification to offend others. So now, how to protect ourselves in an environment which is very aggressive? Like now, in Kaliuga in the Vedic time, people had such determination, people had such purity that alone they would go in some deep forest or in some Himalayas, and then being alone, depending on God, they would perform extensive austerities and they would perfect their life. Now in Kaliuga, we cannot do this. Srila Prabhupada says anyone who thinks in Kaliuga, if he can practice his spirituality without association, he is in hallucination. So in Kaliuga alone, we cannot practice. We have to stay with devotees. Now, when we stay with devotees, so naturally all devotees are growing devotees. So because of which there is an aggressive environment when we stay in association of devotees. Till that time, the association we stay in becomes more mature association. So now, when we stay with devotees and then we see aggressive environment, although they are devotees, but then we see, although in the form of devotees, they may take our resources. Although some devotees, they are devotees, but then they become more attached to post and position, and they may try to pull us down. Or we work very hard in some service, but then somebody else takes the credit of the service. So when we come across such kind of aggressive environment, even in the association of devotees, then we feel that for me to survive in such an environment, I also have to be aggressive. I also have to be pulling others down. I also have to be offensive to others. And that is a big mistake which most sadhakas they do. And what happens by this is surely those devotees who are aggressive or who are creating aggressive environment, they will not grow in their spiritual life. But we also don't grow in our spiritual life because we want to be like them. And then what happens? We lose our spiritual focus. So there are two things. One is the horizontal environment where we stay in. So the place where we stay in, or the way we are. So we'll have a horizontal environment. We'll have a horizontal situation. We'll have horizontal relationships, people, aggression, and then there is a vertical connection to the Supreme Lord. So what the Shastra says is, if you become too affected by the horizontal environment around, by the horizontal situations around, by the horizontal people around, to an extent that you don't focus on your vertical connection to God. You don't care for your vertical connection to God. Then what happens is, because of the horizontal situation around you, you lose your spiritual focus. You lose your spiritual elevation. You lose your vertical connection to God. So yes, horizontal environment. Unfortunately, we are in Kali Yuga, and we are doing mass preaching in ISKCON. So all kinds of people come, and there are some people they will create lot of trouble also. Actually, so when we are in such aggressive environment around, so many times we become very disturbed. How he can speak like this? How he can have material attachment like this? How he can exploit me like this? Or how he's trying to pull me down like this? Or how he's cooking up stories to defame me? So all these things practically everyone who stays in association of devotees they face. Or sometimes somebody who has a bigger post than you, and if they are not mature Vaishnavas, then they may try to exert their post, or their power to subdue us down. So when we see even in a Vaishnava environment like this, then we feel what is this going on, and then we feel I also need to be tit for tat. I also need to be aggressive. But we have to know the environment will be like this in Kali Yuga because we are in Kali Yuga. Second thing is because we are doing mass preaching, so all kinds of people will come, and not everyone comes with a very sincere desire to purify himself and go back on back to Godhead. Most of the people they have a lot of influence of mode of passion and ignorance. Many times we see in association of devotees also, there are some devotees they become very selfish. Whenever prasadam is made, they'll never do prasadam serving. They will try to escape from services. They will be not sensitive to other devotees. So when we stay with devotees, we get to see all this. And such devotees naturally they don't make spiritual progress, and they will not be there for long time also. But then till the time they are there, they will make sure aggressive environment is there. And because we are a preaching movement, one goes, another comes. So always you will have some people who are creating aggressive environment around. So now we as a Vaishnava, when we are in a situation like this, so we have to know, we should have a practical understanding that not everyone is a very sincere devotee. So don't have idealistic expectation from everyone. Many times we feel, "Arey, how as a devotee he can speak like that? How as a devotee he can be like that?" He is in the process of devotion service, but he will take time. So don't have idealistic understanding or expectation from all the devotees. All devotees they are different level and they will have different shades of behavior. Second thing is when such aggressive environment comes, don't take that as justification for you to become aggressive. Don't take that as a justification for you to also do what they are doing. We have to know we have a vertical connection to God, and Krishna is watching him also and me also. So if we abide by Vipradharmachutashraya, then Krishna is happy with me, and the purpose of life is not to do tit for tat. Purpose of life is not to, because he's pulling me down, then I should also pull him down. The purpose of life is to please Krishna. So there is one statement by Srila Bhakti Sansuri Thakur which can give a lot of confidence to us. He says, "No one can do any harm to you unless you harm yourself." See, many times what happens is we become aggressive. Why? Because we feel, oh, he's pulling me down because of him. Certain things I am not getting, or because he's coming in my success, or he's stealing away credit. No one can harm us unless we harm ourselves. See, whatever we are supposed to get, whatever we are supposed to achieve, it will come if we are honestly strive. We don't have to take to adharmic way. We don't have to take wrong way and means. We don't have to justify our being aggressive to be successful. We have to be honest. And this beautifully we see is exemplified in the life of the Pandavas. Now just imagine when Pandavas they were small, that time Duryodhan he tried to poison Bhima. Now just imagine if we are in a situation of Pandavas, and in one way, Pandavas are devotees, and the Kauravas are also devotees. They are also connected to spiritual personalities like Vasishtha and others. So now you see Pandavas, they never thought, Acha, Bhima was poisoned and Duryodhan tried to poison. Now we will also make a plan to poison the Kauravas. And Dhritarashtra, anyways, he is blind only. We can give lot of poison, he will not be able to see also. They never tried. It was so easy for them to poison, no? And it was so easy for them to do anything to the Kauravas. And then later on we see Kauravas, they went another extreme and they tried to kill all the Pandavas by burning them in the Lakshagraha. But we see them, Pandavas, they never took a revenge in the same way as Kauravas were doing. We never see them that they also planned to burn all of the Kauravas. They never took that. They always took shelter of Vipra Dharma Chutashraya. Although adharma was happening to them, but they always were under the shelter of Krishna. They were taking guidance. They were always trying to follow dharma. And in that way, we see later on, they were successful. That later on, Bhishma, when he saw the Pandavas, tears came in his eyes and he could remember all the insanity which happened to the Pandavas, all the trouble which happened to the Pandavas. And then Bhishma says, but in spite of so much happened to all of you survived. Why? Because all of you took shelter of Vipadharmachutashraya. In the end, it is God who is the supreme controller. In the end, it is He who decides. So when although horizontally situations are bad, although horizontally situations are not in our favor, or they are creating a situation which is inciting us to be aggressive, we should not. We have to know because my goal is not to deal with only these people. My goal is to please Krishna. And I have to react with them in a way that Krishna is pleased. Second thing is, if some person is aggressively speaking us or criticizing us or trying to pull us down, they are able to do because I have some karma which is supposed to come upon me. They are becoming instrument. Obviously, because they are choosing to become an instrument to give pain to me, Krishna will take care of them. They also have to suffer for that. But I cannot say that I was not supposed to suffer. They cannot make me suffer unless I have quota of suffering in my case. So in one way, they are not wrong in that case also. Why? Because they are just acting as an instrument, and somehow because they are not fully matured Vaishnavas, so they are becoming instrument. But in my case, anyway, that suffering was supposed to come to me, so it is coming. So those who are mature Vaishnavas, they don't see only the immediate people or immediate situation as a cause. That is also another sign of maturity. So one sign of maturity we saw was that a devotee is very careful in avoiding offenses. Second sign of maturity is the devotee, while being in the horizontal environment and situation, does not forget his vertical connection to God. Right? This is the second sign of maturity. Third sign of maturity is that a devotee does not see only immediate causes. Devotee knows that there are parameters of the causes behind this immediate cause. So we see that how in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto it is mentioned Bhunjan Evatma, that uh, when a devotee is going through suffering, so what he does is suvikshamano. He so iksha means try to analyze, and suviksha means very nicely analyzes. Bhunja nevat, means whatever suffering is coming is my bhunja only, is my karma only, and he remains grateful to Krishna. Tatenu kampa sviksha mano. So tatenu kampa, he remains very grateful to Krishna. That thank you, my dear Lord. This is my quota, but you are so merciful that you are facilitating my devotional service by giving this karma to me, so that I can come more closer to you. And you are doing needful in relation to my karma so that I can go more closer to you. So devotee is very grateful for that. So in that sense also the people around us, they cannot create trouble unless we are supposed to be troubled. When also when he got into anxiety, so instead of telling anything to the king, Mundak Rishi, when he was into the anxiety that king caught him, he thought he also was involved in stealing along with the thieves. So instead of telling anything to the king, the Mundak Rishi directly went to Yamaraj. And he asked Yamaraj, you tell me why I was made to suffer. Because he did not see king as a cause of suffering. He knew he just an instrument. He went to Yamaraj, tell me why I suffered. And then Yamaraj told, oh, you as a small boy, you kind of put a needle or something to a small ant, and that's why you were made to suffer. So Mundak Rishi then he says, oh, that time I was a small boy and I was not knowing what is dharma and adharma. How can you expect a 12-year-old boy to know dharma and adharma? And for an action which is conducted in that stage, how you can give such a heavy punishment? So this is the only time where injustice happened by Yamraj. Otherwise, no injustice happens to anyone in the world. That's how the Lord has made the whole system. And this injustice also which happened to Mundak Rishi by Yamaraj was a plan of the Lord. Because Yamaraj was praying that, my dear Lord, I do all this on your behalf as a service. But I want to hear about you. I want to take association of your devotees. So that's why Krishna arranged the situation of injustice being done by Yamaraj, so that Yamaraj can be cursed by Mundak Rishi to come here as Vidura. Otherwise, no injustice happens to anyone in this world because the Lord system is so fine. For every small pleasure, for every small success, for every small misery and pain, there is a plan of the Lord. And everything is happening in that plan of the Lord. So that is why we should not get too affected by the immediate instruments causing pain in our life. You can observe also, you may find one instrument caused pain for you in your life for maybe 5 years or 10 years. Then he will not be there. And then another person will come and he will become instrument. So one thing you will find, not a same person will remain an instrument to give you pain in your experience. Second thing you will find is, it will never be a situation where you don't have anyone giving you pain. Because you have your karma, it will come. You may change your place, you may change country, you may go from one place to another. Everywhere you will find someone coming, becoming instrument and giving you pain. Why? Because that's our karma. They are becoming instrument. So that is why we should be tatenu kampa swikshamano. Swikshamano means a devotee sees beyond what is happening. He sees beyond. Bhunja nevatma. This is my own karma coming back to me. And he is very grateful. Why he is very grateful to Krishna? Because it is your own karma coming. So why there is a need of gratitude? So one thing is, because you are a devotee, so Krishna is using your karma. One thing is correct, Krishna is giving your karma back to you. But now because you are a devotee, Krishna is using your karma in such a way that he wants to facilitate your coming closer to Krishna. So it is not same like a karmi getting his karma back to him. In case of a karmi, it just comes. But in case of a devotee, Krishna sees when should I deliver his karma to him and how I should deliver, how much I should deliver, so that he becomes more serious about his spiritual life. So when we get our reactions in our life through people, through situation, if we do svikshamano, then and if we go to deeper, we turn to Krishna, we pray to the Lord that Lord, please help me to understand why I am going through this situation in my life. If you do this, then you will get understanding that actually this is good for me. Most of the devotees, those who are good devotees, see one of the thing happens is when Krishna gives a situation where those who are serious devotees they go more closer to Krishna, they understand Krishna's mercy, but those who are not, they go away from Krishna. Actually, situation is same. But then what happens? It depends on our consciousness also. So if we are trying to understand Krishna, if we are trying to go closer to Krishna, if we are trying to take shelter of Krishna, then we can see, oh, because Krishna is always merciful. Just imagine why God, loving Father, who created such a big material world, who himself comes, who is sending so many devotees, and only purpose of him coming, only purpose of him sending so many devotees is to bring us back to spiritual world. Why will he create a situation to take us away from him? He'll never do so. Any situation which Krishna arranges is always a merciful situation for us to go closer to him. But then, because of our impurity in the consciousness, because of our material attachments, many times we are not able to see that situation as mercy of the Lord. And then we choose to go away from Krishna because the moment we don't see any situation in connection with Krishna as mercy of the Lord, then we are covered by Bhairanga Sakti of the Lord. And Bhairanga Sakti then takes us away from Krishna. Like that. Otherwise, every situation is a mercy of the Lord. So that is why as a devotee, we should not become too disturbed and then offend others. Sometimes this happens, especially in a devotee circle, that we feel, oh, he spoke like this to me, now I will also hurt him. Because he hurted me, I will hurt him again. See, he hurted me, he did wrong. And don't worry, Krishna will take care of him. You see, when Brahaspati he came and Indra, he was sitting on a big throne and he saw Brahaspati coming. And who is Brahaspati? The spiritual master of Indra. But then, being intoxicated in his drinking and in his opulence, he could not pay respects to Brahaspati. Now, Brahaspati saw that because of him being intoxicated in pride and opulence, he is neglecting me. But Brahaspati did not correct Indra. Brahaspati told time will teach him, and he just disappeared. And it is a fact. Anyone who is doing anything in the material world, there is an auto system to, you know, come back to him as a reaction to what he's doing. No one can be saved in the material world. But what happens if he is causing me hurt? First thing is, whatever he is doing, he will get a result of it. Second thing, he could hurt me because I was supposed to be hurt. Bhunja nevat, because it is my karma to be hurt. So it is not that he could hurt me. I was supposed to get that pain. He just became instrument. First thing is, don't worry about him. Krishna will take care. Second thing is, he could hurt me because I was supposed to be. Right. Third thing is, if I react now, so whatever karma which disappeared, which reduced because that karma came as a pain through him. If I react now, I will further incur karma. I will further incur karma and then I have to further suffer later on. Correct? And in the process, if I happen to hurt him, and he is also a devotee, he is also chanting, practicing. So naturally, he also will not develop Krishna Prem, but I will also not develop Krishna Prem. Why? Because I happen to hurt him. That's why you see in our Vedas, those who are great soul, they never retaliate. They never do tit for tat. They never hit back. You see Prahlad Maharaj, how much he was tortured, but he never spoke a ill word to Hiranyakashipu. Haridas Thakur, he was beaten up in 22 marketplaces. And the people, butchers who were beating him very hard, Haridas Thakur was praying for them, my dear Lord, please forgive them, they don't know what they are doing. Right. Same way we see that how Chaturgram and Kulatunga who tried to kill Ramanujacharya, and in place of Ramanujacharya, Kuresh and Mahapurna went. And they plucked out the eyes of Mahapurna and Kuresh. Now just imagine if somebody plucks our eyes out, means how much revenge we will have in our heart for whole life, is it not? And it is natural because we are not very pure. So these feelings will come. We will, chant extra rounds so that he may die. We will pray intensely. We will do Godhan Parikrama that my dear Lord, इसके फेफड़े फट जाए, इसकी किडनी उड़ जाए, इसका हृदय में छेद हो जाए. Is it not? But you see, Quresh, later on when he went to Lord Ranganath, he told, my dear Lord, you send Kola Tunga to spiritual world. Lord Rangnath is telling Quresh, I was making a plan to make him suffer eternally in the hell. How can you ask him to go to the spiritual world? He says, my dear Lord, he is in ignorance. He is suffering. Can you see? He is so much suffering being away from you. Please give him a place in the spiritual world. So this is the pure devotees level where they don't get affected. At our level also, we should try our best to understand this philosophy so that we don't do tit for tat. We have to be very careful. Now, some of you may say, Prabhuji, but if somebody is actually doing something bad to us, and time and again, revenge feelings are coming, time and again, negativity is coming about him, how we can just not react to it? So, best is if you can tolerate. If you can't tolerate, then don't be artificial also. You don't be artificial that, oh, I'm not able to tolerate again and again, those thoughts are coming, but then you want to be artificially trying to tolerate. What happens is, if you artificially tolerate, then in an ugly way it will come out like a pressure cooker sheeting. So if you are able to tolerate, that is the best. You focus on your spiritual life, see that as your karma coming back to you, and don't worry about him. Krishna will take care. You be humble. Like when His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he was there in New Vrindavan. So Maharaj was always humble, simple. He never retaliated, never did anything to any devotee. So Ketanand Maharaj told you should take sannyas. And Radhanath Maharaj said, no, I don't want to take sannyas because Maharaj would feel I am humble, I am unqualified and I don't deserve. So one devotee came and he told to Maharaj that uh, if you don't want to take sannyas, then better get married. Maybe you have desires to get married. That's why you don't want to take sannyas. And Maharaj was so humble. Maharaj said, if you want me to get married, I'll get married. I don't have problem. But I don't want to take sannyas. तो महाराज हर सिचुएशन में ऐसे हम्बल ही रहते थे. फिर बाद में ये जितने भी डिवोटीज महाराज को ऐसे ऐसे जो ताने मारे या बोले, तो ये भी ब्रह्मचारी थे. तो महाराज तो सन्यास बाद में लिए लेकिन ये मैरी हो गए. क्योंकि लॉर्ड क्या है ना, हर चीज को नोट करते हैं. भक्ति में खास करके कुछ भी हम बोलते हैं ना, लॉर्ड इज मेकिंग अ नोट. You see, Draupadi, end of the Kurukshetra war. Who is Draupadi? Can you imagine? She is a pure devotee of Lord. For him, Lord personally came. So, when Draupadi, after the war, everyone was saying that all this massacre took place just because of Draupadi. So, she felt pain to hear that why everyone is taking my name and criticizing. Am I responsible for the whole war? So, she went to Krishna and she told Krishna, Krishna, why everyone is taking my name? Am I only responsible for this war? एंड कृष्ण बहुत सुंदर बोलते हैं, महाभारत में आता है, कृष्ण बोलते हैं देखो सब अपने कर्मों का फल भोग रहे हैं। लॉर्ड स्माइल्स एंड सेज एवरीवन इज रीपिंग द रिजल्ट ऑफ देयर ओन कर्म। एंड द्रौपदी सेज माय डियर लॉर्ड बट मैंने क्या गलत किया, मेरा इतना नाम खराब क्यों हो रहा है। फिर लॉर्ड बोलते हैं कि किसने बोला था तुमको हंसने के लिए और बोलने के लिए अंधे का बेटा अंधा। तो आपने जो बोला वहां पर हंसा, तो उसका कर्म आपको आ रहा है। ऐसा तो देखो कोई नहीं बचता है, भगवान जो है उस बैलेंस कर देते हैं, जिसने जो किया उसको मिलेगा। लेकिन फिर भी हम टॉलरेट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो आप क्या कर सकते हैं, विप्र धर्म अच्युत आश्रय में रहकर जो आप बेस्ट रिएक्ट कर सकते हैं वो रिएक्ट कीजिए। लेकिन कभी भी विप्र धर्म अच्युत आश्रय का सहारा छोड़ के रिएक्ट मत कीजिए। अगर आपने वो विप्र धर्म अच्युत आश्रय का सहारा छोड़ के रिएक्ट कर दिया, then you go into the path of adharma, then you are outside the boundary where you can get Krishna's mercy. So okay, if somebody is creating some problem or some devotee has a genuine fault or a problem, then in a dharmic way to a superior we can go and we can present that Prabhuji. And we should never speak in a judging tone. वी शुड नेवर स्पीक इन अ जजिंग टोन। जैसे कोई डिवोटी है, वो उसकी आदत है कि वो बिना पूछे आपका पेन जो है लेके चला जाता है, या बिना पूछे आपका डायरी लेके चला जाता है, या बिना पूछे आपका मोबाइल लेके चला जाता है, और कुछ समय के बाद में वापस दे देता है। तो नाउ व्हेन यू गो एंड प्रेजेंट टू योर सुपीरियर, इफ यू गो एंड टेल प्रभु जी ये चोर है, इसको वॉइस में क्यों रखा हुआ है, तो ये क्या है, जजिंग टोन हो गया, ये अपराध हो जाएगा। बट इफ यू गो एंड यू टेल प्रभु जी 10th October को I had kept my mobile at 5 p.m. on my table, and this devotee came and he took without asking me, and then at 7 p.m. after 2 hours he came and he said, oh I took your mobile, please take it. And like that multiple times he has taken things without asking. So I feel very concerned and I feel very disturbed because of this. Can you please help me? Bus. You present case or incident without judging tone. Judging tone becomes offense. Like you see, when Daksha is speaking to Shiva, he is speaking in a judging tone. अरे क्या है, नहाता नहीं है, भूत की तरह रहता है, इसको पता नहीं क्या है, ये सब जजिंग टोन है। तो जजिंग टोन में अगर हम बात करेंगे तो क्या है, वो अपराध हो जाता है। लेकिन क्योंकि एग्रेसिव एनवायरनमेंट है और हम लोग भी उतने प्योर नहीं है, सो देयर मे बी अ सिचुएशन वेयर वी मे हैव टू प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन, because our level is not so advanced, we are getting disturbed. So then present fact, present situation, present incident, but then don't blame or don't label or don't criticize or don't judge. If you blame, if you label, if you complain, if you criticize or if you judge, then they all come under Vaishnava aparadha. So suppose you find some devotee, uh, he is uh, mm, he always ask for resources। प्रभु जी आपका लैपटॉप मिलेगा क्या, प्रभु जी आपका बाइक मिलेगा क्या, प्रभु जी आपका फोन मिलेगा क्या, प्रभु जी आपका ये मिलेगा क्या। एंड यू टेल हिम नो, दैट नो प्रभु इट विल बी डिफिकल्ट, नहीं 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 प्रभु जी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, चाहिए था, मेरे को नीड है, एंड यू फील वेरी ऑकवर्ड। So you can go to superior and tell him that probably this devotee speaks like that. He comes, and I feel very awkward. I don't want to give to him, but I don't want to offend him also. So can you please talk to him? Superior will talk, and in some cases, superior may not talk also. But what best you can do is in a dharmic way you can report about the situation to the superior, and sometimes they may not talk also. Like in ISKCON, it happens sometimes. Suppose there is a devotee, uh, he is a big fund collector. He is collecting a lot of money in the temple. Now, suppose he misbehaves with some devotee, and then that devotee goes to superior and he says, Prabhu, he spoke abusive language to me. He spoke these words to me. It was very painful. Please help. So superior will say, no, no, ठीक है, उसका नेचर वैसा है, you forgive him, forget him. then we have to now forget. Why? Because sometimes what happens, some people they are doing some service to Krishna and their level is so low that if a superior corrects them, then they will leave the service only. So then superior have no other option than to tell others to, not get too affected and to digest what is happening. But still, we should keep reporting if we are not able to healthily tolerate. But if you are able to healthily tolerate, then no problem. So we have to know in no case we can afford to offend others. In no case we can afford to criticize others. So these things which we discussed today, if we have a nice understanding about these things, then we will be in a healthy consciousness not to hurt others, not to get affected by the aggressive environment around us. But if we don't take care of all these aspects, then we'll get affected by the aggressive environment around. And what things we discussed, these things we'll be able to practice only when we are maintaining good sadhana. Because this vertical connection, to the extent it is strong, to that extent you will be less affected by the horizontal situation. To the extent vertical connection is weak, to that extent horizontal situation becomes more important for us. And we get more affected by the horizontal situation. You see, Vrittasura and Indra, Vrittasura is telling to Indra, Are, that is the weapon of Vajra that is told by Lord Vishnu to you. And Lord Vishnu has told you, if you kill me by that weapon, I'll be killed. So just lift that weapon and kill me. So you see, Vrittasura is ready to be killed also. Because he knows that I am going back home back to Godhead. For me, going back to Godhead, for me, pleasing Krishna, serving Krishna, that is more important. So if we have that focus, then we don't get affected. And it is not that we may feel प्रभु जी मेरे साथ ही ऐसा कैसे हो रहा है, मेरे जीवन में ऐसा वैष्णव क्यों मिल गए, ये तो पीछे ही पड़ गया है मेरे, बिल्कुल छोड़ता ही नहीं है, या मेरे जीवन में ऐसी स्थितियां क्यों हो रही हैं. You are not singled out. Everyone feels like that only. That is how the material world is, because everyone has their karma to suffer. Everyone feels I am in a very specific situation of suffering. No, everyone has to go through suffering. That's the nature of the world. So don't feel singled out. What is the greatest privilege we have? What is the greatest opportunity we have? Is to take shelter of Krishna. That we have to know. Many times in these temporary situations around, we get so affected, we forget our permanent relationship which we have with Krishna. That is more important. Take shelter of Krishna, take his mercy, take his strength from him, take shelter of him by chanting holy names of the Lord. We'll get strength, and you will find the situation around will appear insignificant. But if you react, and if you especially take up to adharma, then we lose so much. We lose so much. And our vertical connection to Krishna also goes. And we see those devotees who tolerated, we see those devotees who reflected that situation as mercy of the Lord. We see those devotees who connected more to Krishna. They are the one who actually purify their heart. They are the one who actually grow and become advanced devotees. If you hear the life of His Holiness Rajnath Swami Maharaj when he was in New Vrindavan, so much he also underwent so many situations. When His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj was there in Juhu temple, one devotee, he slapped Maharaj. Can you imagine? एक डिवोटी ने महाराज को पूरा ऐसे थप्पड़ मारा बुरी तरीके से. And you see the reaction of Maharaj? No reaction. So these great souls, they have lived a life like this. And we see that how Maharaj has become such close servant of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. Prabhupada wrote in one letter that to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, that because you are very careful to avoid offenses, you will please Krishna. ऐसा करके एक लेटर है कि because you are very careful to avoid offenses, you will please Krishna. So don't feel that environment will be very cozy. Every devotee will be Mahabhagavat. They will selflessly serve me. No, every devotee, they are of different nature, different situation. We have to try our best to become good devotee ourselves. And you will find any community where we expect other devotees to become better. That community, everyone remains at a lower platform. That community where everyone is trying their best to become themselves better, that community elevates to a higher platform. So don't be in external consciousness, इसको ठीक होना चाहिए, इसको ठीक होना चाहिए, ये अच्छा होना चाहिए, वो अच्छा होना चाहिए. आप खुद अच्छे बनो. Purpose of the material world is not to improve everything else. The purpose of the material world designed by Krishna is to improve one person, that is me. So we have to see that I want to become a better Vaishnava. See, अगर वो devotee खराब है और मैं भी वैसा ही बन जाऊं, how I am helping in the solution part? I am not helping in the solution part, right? Let me become a better devotee. At least let me become a better example for some. Let me become a source of inspiration for some. Let me practice these principles which are mentioned in Bhagavatam. Let me try to please Krishna. So when each one of us try to become a better Vaishnava, then automatically the community elevates. Automatically the community becomes a very mature community. So that is the purpose. That's why you'll find many times you'll find the modern approach is external approach. चोरी हो रही है, सीसीटीवी कैमरा लगा दो, सिक्योरिटी गार्ड को खड़ा कर दो, पनिश करो. ये मॉडर्न अप्रोच है. वैदिक अप्रोच क्या है? ईच वन शुड बिकम अ बेटर पर्सन. ये वैदिक अप्रोच है. लेट मी बिकम अ बेटर पर्सन. So when each one focuses on becoming a better devotee, then automatically the whole environment is such. लेकिन अगर हम एक्सटर्नली दूसरों ही को ठीक करने में लगे हुए हैं, तो हर कोई एक दूसरे को ठीक करना चाहता है, हर कोई एक दूसरे को सुधारना चाहता है, हर कोई एक दूसरे के बारे में बोलना चाहता है, और पूरा कम्युनिटी जो है वो एक दूसरे की नेगेटिविटी से नीचे जाता है. बट व्हेन वी ourselves are trying to become a better Vaishnava, then in that community, the positive energy where everyone is trying to become a better devotee and they are trying to help each other to become a better devotee, that positive energy surcharges and brings the whole community above. So don't become affected by the negativity of this world, especially in Kali Yuga. The aggressive environment will be there, and in ISKCON, especially it will be there because we are doing mass preaching. All kinds of people will come, but we have to have a right examples in front of us. We have such wonderful examples. His Holiness Japataka Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj. These Prabhupada disciples, what a kind of example they have set. And we should see them as our role models. And then we can become a better Vaishnava and we can get mercy of the Lord. Hare Krishna.